It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good afternoon and welcome into Tiger Talk. We're live inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, and we're glad to have you with us here today, part of Tiger Club. And again, we'll give our annual pitch for that, for you to join Tiger Club. Still a good chunk of the year ahead of us. You get a chance to watch the show in person, come out and get a great meal, and meet some of the student athletes and coaches during each and every show on Wednesdays here inside the Robins Center. You can contact the Fort Hays State Athletic Department for more information there. As always, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk some, it's our first winter sports entire program. We've had a few of the winter sports on here and there, but we're full-blown into the winter sports. All the fall campaigns are in the books, and we're going to talk some wrestling, men's wrestling with Eric Wentz here in a little bit. And we'll have both basketball coaches, Talia Cars and Mark Johnson, a little bit later on in the program. And if you have a question for any of those coaches, it's pretty simple. You can get in touch by going to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You'll get a drop down. It's on the right-hand side. And you'll see Tiger Talk. Ask the coach, submit your question. And if we use it, you've got a chance to win one of those new Fort Hays State basketball T-shirts. You can get to the Fort Hays State Athletic Department. We'll be giving those away each and every week. So submit your questions if you want to chat a little wrestling or men's and women's basketball here on the program. Let's go ahead and get you up to date with what's going on. Men's and women's basketball will be at home. In fact, tomorrow they begin MIAA play. The Tigers taking on the Mules and Jennies from Central Missouri, 5:30 and 7:30. And then on Saturday afternoon, Washburn comes to town. And, of course, you can hear all of those games on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 and the Tiger Sports Network. The men beat Manhattan Christian Saturday at Gross Memorial Coliseum. The women picked up a couple of big wins out in the Colorado area against Regis and Colorado School of Mines. We'll talk about those victories and preview the Mules and Jennies here in just a little bit. Women move up 5 to number 7 in the latest Division II coaches poll. They're tied for 14th in the latest media rankings. Fort Hays State women's wrestling had 6 champions and 20 placers at the Bob Smith Open at Gross Memorial Coliseum this weekend. Isabella Cross at 110, Lindsay Lopez at 117, Lexi Lopez at 124, Jamie Laswell at 131, and Nicole Moore at 138, along with Haley Conley at 207, all winning their respective weight classes. The night before, they beat Adams State in a duel, 39-11, so they're 3-1 in duels. Lexi Lopez ranked 10th at 124 in the latest National Wrestling Coaches Association rankings. And the women out in Liberty, Missouri, Saturday for the William Jewell duels. Men at home, Saturday, MIAA duel with Ouachita Baptist, and then Sunday, it's the Bob Smith Open. Of course, we'll talk more about that with Eric Wentz here in just a few minutes. And indoor track and field, they get their season started this weekend. Some will be headed to Pittsburgh, the Boo Rogers Combined Event, and the others will be at Washburn for the Washburn Alumni Invitational in Topeka. Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk some wrestling. Men's coach Eric Wentz will join us. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles into the 10-5 touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hayes High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the 3, and fake it home as it swirls.
Launches a three, bang, nothing but net.
Second, it's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get that, he's outranked in overtime.
Here's Dilsaver, top of the key. Tigers in their road blacks. Plays it over to Weiner, and she buries a right elbow 15-footer. To Lexa Weiner in double figures with 10. 52-51. Boy. Some of the action from last Friday out in Denver, the Tigers and the Regis Rangers. We'll talk women's basketball with Coach Talia Kars here in just a little bit. Need to remind you, Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We're joined now by Fort Hays State men's wrestling coach Eric Wentz, and busy weekend coming up with the Bob Smith Open. Before we get into that and get a little bit of a preview, let's talk about the season so far. 2-1 in duels. I know you've had a couple of open events with your full team involved. Just an overview of how you think you guys are doing so far.
You know, we're really putting a lot of emphasis on progress this year. You know, we're not putting a lot of emphasis on results because we have a very young team. I was going through the lineup. Our starting lineup, we might have 2 upperclassmen as far as, you know, between Terry Henry and Matthew Rodriguez, you know, being the older guys. But even then, you know, Matt's only a redshirt junior. So we got guys that are, you know, freshmen, redshirt sophomores that are filling into the lineup. So, you know, we're really focused on making sure they're having fun with the sport still, because there's going to be growing pains when you got a bunch of young guys in the lineup. So, and overall, you know, we've got some bright spots. We've had a couple of rough days, you know, but the whole scope of Division II wrestling has been like that this year. We've seen national champs and national finalists, you know, get put out of tournaments in the first 2-3 rounds this year. So it's just, I don't know what's going on with Division II, but the whole scope of Division II wrestling has just been squirrely all season long. So, you know, we're building on it, you know, trying to get some positivity and keeping guys ready to go. You know, and it's been a little tough, but you know, we're trying to play some Jedi mind tricks with the young guys and just keep their spirits up and let them know that this is a long process and it's a long season, and the ultimate thing we're looking for is March. Obviously,
at every sport, you make that next step and you compete at a collegiate level and stuff. What's the biggest challenge for wrestlers, do you feel, when you're going from the high school ranks to now competing collegiately?
Dealing with the adversity, because you know, for the last probably 2-3 years as a high school kid, if you've got some credentials at all, wrestling for state titles and stuff, you know, no matter where you're coming from, you've probably been putting it on guys pretty good for the last 2-3 years, and now you're a 17, 18-year-old kid coming in and trying to do hand-to-hand combat with some of these guys are 6th or 7th years, so they're like 23, 24 years old. So dealing with the adversity of not going out and just being able to impose your will on guys every time you step out there. You're in a dogfight every time you step on the mat. And so that's why we've been focused on, hey, let's continue to get better each time we go out there. Not worry about the result, not worry about, if you get taken down, getting in a pity party. It's always about scoring the next point, whether it's in the match, at the beginning of the match, the end of the match, or, finishing the match on top, and just little things like that. And if we can get to where those are happening consistently, good things are going to happen as we get towards the end of the season.
Have you been happy how they've responded to that?
Yeah, for the most part. There's been times where they've been a little down. You could tell they're a little beat up mentally, and we're doing some things to kind of combat that. We've actually got a Zoom meeting this afternoon with a sports psychologist friend of mine from University of Columbia, who's a Division I coach, and so we're going to do a little one-on-one time with the team and him, and really just focus on how they're approaching the sport and how they're approaching each weigh-in, how they're approaching each round of a tournament, dual meets and things like that, so that they can figure out what's going to make them click to compete at the highest level every time they step out.
With all these new guys, anybody stand out? I know it's kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but just talk about some of your roster a little bit and some of these new faces that we're going to be seeing not only this year, but hopefully years to come.
Yeah, A.B. Stokes at 125, he's stepping in. DeAndre Brown's on redshirt this year, trying to put some size on him and get him up to 133 for next year. But A.B. Stokes at 125 has been doing great. He's battled some sickness, and unfortunately he had to wrestle a top 10 kid when he was not feeling real well, and he still wrestled really well and had opportunities to win matches. But when he's on, he's so incredibly skilled and athletic that I believe he could be on the podium at the end of the year. It's all for him. It's all mind game. And we got a lot of other guys filling in right now. Jacob Judd has been awesome for us. Kason Lindsey went down early with an elbow injury. He's been out since first event after having a really good friends tournament. And Judd has really stepped in and he was here last semester, but redshirted last semester. But he has come in and really turned a corner, and when he's healthy, he's good enough to find himself at the national tournament. And obviously Terrius doing his thing, and but Ryan Patterson filling in for Terrius when Terrius is, he's old, so he's getting a little banged up a little easier. So when Ryan's filling in for him, he's having a great year. He's won 5 or 6 matches this year, and then obviously Terrius doing his thing, but Rye Ostrander at heavyweight, our giant Viking at 6'4", 6'5". 260 pounds on a heavy day. When he's on, he's good enough to find himself in the national tournament as a redshirt freshman this year.
I was going to ask you about Terrius, and you kind of touched on it. He's got a few miles on him.
He does.
How's he hanging in there? Because obviously he's had such success, but I'd imagine even though he's had that success, as you get older, and it sounds weird, you're wrestling maybe some younger guys with less miles, it can be a bit of a challenge. How's he hanging in there?
Yeah, he's good. The hard part for him sometimes is he has been around so long that a lot of people have kind of figured him out. And he's wrestled a lot of these guys, 5, 6, 7 times in one season. So, finding new ways to get to his offense, and because guys are they have one goal when they go out against Terrius, and that's to shut him down or literally run away. And so he sometimes gets overzealous sometimes when guys try to avoid him, that he walks into some stuff and gets taken down and then has to battle back, but usually does a really good job of it. And so now we're trying to find different ways for him to score points that are different from what he's been doing in the past, because guys have kind of figured him out, and they figured out, if we just slow him down or don't make contact with him at all and don't wrestle him, that's about the only way and hope to sneak something out at the end of the match. So that's really about the only way guys are beating him, is if they're running away or trying to sneak something in late and just slow him down the rest of the time, and then with 10, 15 seconds, hope to get a takedown on him.
Yeah, we're certainly glad he's back for one more year, and fun to watch, and hopefully it all goes well. All right, let's talk about the weekend. Busy weekend. Saturday, a nationally ranked opponent, Ouachita Baptist. That's one of those. This is a conference match with the arrangement you have with them, and then obviously Sunday's Bob Smith Open. Let's talk about Ouachita a little bit. As we said, ranked 25th in the country, obviously off to a good start. What are some of the big challenges against them?
Yeah, and they're kind of a scrappy southeastern, I guess you'd call it, team. They've got, their 133 pounders ranked 6th, I believe, right now. Pennsylvania kid. He was a national qualifier for him last year. And we'll have a true freshman in the lineup, Andrew Honus, but he's doing really well for us. So we're pretty excited about the matchup, because Andrew got his hands on the defending national finalist and gave him a good go last week at Kearney. So we're pretty fired up about that matchup, because we think stylistically it's a good matchup for us. Their 157 is just cracked the top 20. We normally have Marcel Deli in there. That he got his head bumped last week, so we'll have Charlie Hudson in. So we've been working with him on how to combat what that guy has to offer. But realistically, we feel like it's a dual meet we should win. If we're firing on all cylinders, I feel 100% that we should pull this dual meet out.
And then Sunday, by the way, that'll be at 7:30 Saturday, men's and women's basketball in the afternoon, and some wrestling at night. And then all day gets underway, 9 a.m. on Sunday, the Bob Smith Open, always an exciting event. What's the field look like this year?
Oh, boy.
Sounds like a full day of wrestling.
It's a full day of wrestling. On Monday at 1 o'clock, we had 10 o'clock, we had 185 entries. So I sent an email out saying, hey, get your entries in. We cap it at 250. Before I could cut track wrestling off and not let any more entries in, within an hour, we had 380 entries.
Oh, wow.
So we have added 2 more mats. We're going to squeeze 8 mats down on the floor. It's going to be a late night on Saturday after we'll get everything set up. But it's going to be great. We've got Air Force is sending 15 guys. Oklahoma sending 6. Oklahoma State sending 6. Nebraska sending 7. Adams State bringing the whole crew.
Wow.
Kearney's bringing 20 guys. New Mexico Highlands is coming for the first time in a long time. They're bringing 15 guys. So it's going to be a really tough day of competition. We've even got some unattached nationally ranked high school kids coming in, which that NCAA allows that. So we've got 4 or 5 nationally ranked high school kids in the field as well, and so it'd be a good recruiting day for us because we can watch these guys get hands on because they're all local, they're all Oklahoma or Texas, and then. So it's going to be a really long day. Lots of JUCOs, lots of 1 or 2 NAIAs, but lots of D2s, lots of D1s, and it's our goal is to get out of there by 7 p.m. If we can get out of there by 7 p.m., we'll be doing good.
It's a full day. Good luck on that.
Full day.
I know this has been a popular event. I think it probably goes a lot to the credit to everybody who has a hand in putting this event on. It's run so well, yes. But why such interest this year? Is it a timing thing? Or?
I think it's a timing thing because it's just before finals. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of times, so normally we lose some of the D1s because their final schedules don't mesh well with when we normally host it, and the way the calendar fell this year, and we have one more event before Christmas break at the Midwest Classic. A lot of these teams are looking to get one last open in before they start their conference schedules like everybody else, right around Christmas time or right after Christmas. So I don't know. I'm glad it's that big. I didn't intend for it to be that big this year, but it's the more the merrier.
Yep, that'll be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people like to get out and watch that. Starts at 9, runs all day. Great wrestling, and I know for the D2 guys, we have the D1s come in. That's always exciting.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as we know, there's a lot of great wrestling at the Division II level, and to get to go up against some of those guys is pretty exciting.
Yeah, we love if we can take a win from a Big 12 or somebody like that. Oklahoma State, Nebraska. We've taken some wins from those guys, and granted they're not their starters, but they're Division I caliber athletes. So it's a big boost for our guys if they can go out and knock off a guy wearing the Nebraska red or Oklahoma orange or something. So we're pretty excited about it. I love competing against D1s because it gives our guys a great feel and it helps our guys mentally.
All right, well. Good luck. It'd be not a lot of sleep with Saturday night and then a turnaround Sunday, but it should be a fun weekend of wrestling. Again, Ouachita Baptist at 7:30 Saturday, and then starting at 9 and all day Sunday, the Bob Smith Open. Coach, as always, appreciate it, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Eric Wentz. He is the head wrestling coach for the Tiger men and the Bob Smith Open at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone, use the Taco Shop app, dine in, pick up or delivery. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. Back after this on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
Here's DeGarmo, time of the key over to Stearns, and she threw it away. Somehow, Hollenbeck caught it in a triple team. Gets it out to Dilsaver. Now she'll play to Levy. Back to Stearns. Left corner 3. She hit her third. 3 threes in the half. A season high 9 for Ellie Stearns. 26-12. Fort Hays State by 14. And with some of the action on Saturday, and the Tigers win at Colorado School of Mines. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State campus, talking some Fort Hays State women's basketball with head coach Talia Kars. Tigers off to a 7-0 start, ranked 7th in the latest WBCA poll, tied for 14th in the Sports Information Director's media rankings, and off to a good start in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference race. 4-0, lead the RMAC. Got a taste of some former conference foes this past weekend at Regis and at Colorado School of Mines. Had a win over Tabor before Thanksgiving in there as well. Obviously, you got to be pleased with the way your team has played here so far off to the 7-0 start.
Yeah, I don't think we played our best on Friday, but I thought we did a good job of battling some fatigue, some elevation and those sort of things, and it's always good to get a close win when the game's tight. I've decided that the only thing the rankings do is make the other team want to play you and beat you really bad, so you're just going to see their best every night, and it's hard to stay up there, and it's hard to continue just to battle and get wins.
Yeah, I know most coaches don't put much into the rankings, but it is nice to be recognized, and I think it obviously goes with the reputation of Fort Hays State women's basketball. But those are two big wins out in Colorado. You mentioned the elevation. You know that's something you don't have to deal with often. The back-to-back games in elevation. And then that first quarter against Regis is one of those that didn't dawn on me until the quarter was over, but there was never a break for under 5 minutes. So you went through that without a break that entire quarter. I think you could tell that by the end, but as you said, your team did a good job of persevering through all of that and found a way to win that game.
Yeah, they did. And I almost called a timeout, but the other team was over there going like this too. And so I was like, we're tougher than them mentally, and we needed to battle through it. And I thought they did. They were definitely tired, but the other team was too. So it was going to come down to who was a little bit mentally tough and who could run up the floor a little bit harder and a little bit faster.
It was a game, it felt like you were in control most of the way. You'd get a 10-point lead, you go up 7 or 8. Just could never pull away, and give credit to Regis. They've got a nice squad, but found a way in the overtime, and it could have been tough, kind of letting things get away down the stretch, but to win it overtime like you did, it showed a lot about your team, I thought.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. They did a good job actually running the floor on us versus us running the floor on them. They handled our pressure really well, and they got some easy shots up the floor. Their point guard is a really good player, and she got the ball where it needed to go.
Brooke Levy almost had a triple-double for you. 10 points, 12 rebounds, a career high, and 8 assists, and I think she had those 8 assists with a lot of time left. Just didn't work out to get 2 more to get that triple-double. But it just feels like she's playing really well and I don't know, calmer, but she feels different out there this year than she has up to this point.
Yeah, no, I think she's kind of settling into a role and figuring out what that is. I think in the first 2 games of this year, she still was trying to figure out what that looked like for her, and she's just a great passer and loves to get those assists. So it's really nice to have a point guard like that that's unselfish and wants to get the ball to somebody to get an easy shot. And she has a knack for getting the ball in kind of some tight places sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't go so well, but most of the time right now it's going really well for her.
Well, and I think that's one of those, there's going to be a few of those passes that don't work, but it's one of those little risk-reward. The reward has been much, much greater than the risk, so you take a few of those because she does so many well.
Yeah, she does. And against Tabor last week, I think we had 36 or 32 turnover assists.
32 on 40 made baskets.
And 6 turnovers. And Brooke had 10, and our backup point had 8 assists with 0 turnovers, which is, I think, something to be said about both of those guys. But the girls were like, we're just shooting a lot of – I said, they're not playing bad defense. You guys are running the floor really extremely hard, and we're making a great pass for you to get an easy shot. And so it was nothing against Tabor. We just were getting the ball right where it needed to go every time.
Yeah, I thought you guys played really well on that one. And then you come back at Colorado School of Mines, and they had just knocked off Minnesota State the day before, and a team that shot the 3 ball pretty well, and they were impressive in that win. And you guys played really well, had a great second half. You had to be really pleased bouncing back on the second day in the elevation and play the way you did.
Yeah, Saturday I was nervous going into that game. They played a really good game that night before against Mankato, handled their pressure really well. Going into that game, our plan was not to press. And the girls decided they wanted to press because I was a little nervous. We weren't going to have enough energy to do it, and they did it, and they turned it on, and they actually struggled with it a little more than I thought they would. And we got good shots, executed really well against them, and I thought defensively we did a great job because there's 4 guards basically playing, and we guarded the ball really well. And I told them, your goal is not to get scored on it one-on-one, and they did a really good job of that.
I was just going to bring that up. I thought, especially in that first half, but really the whole game, that was as good of defensive game you guys have played in a long, long time.
Yeah, I think in the second quarter, we held them to 2 points in the second quarter until about 2 minutes left in that quarter. And so I thought just our defense was huge in that game.
And you had 3 in double figures in that one. Katie, 19 points, 8 boards, kind of it's a Katie DeGarmo day, kind of her numbers. But obviously Ellie Stearns, 14 points. She goes 4 of 6 from threes, tied her career high with the 4 threes, and obviously that changes a lot with your team when she can do that and you can hit the 3 ball because she's one of those. She plays hard. She had the biggest rebound of the game against Regis the day before to help seal that win. And a lot of things that never show up in a stat sheet, but when she can knock the three in, that just changes the dimensions of your team.
Yeah, that makes us a really hard team to guard when she's hitting those outside shots, because she's doing all the little things well that, like you said, don't show up on the stat sheet, especially the rebounding side of things. She is a great secondary defender, and when she can make a shot, that's even a little bit more exciting for her.
Well, 2 nice wins to go to 7-0, and ready or not, it's MIAA play. It's hard to believe that it's here already, and you get Central Missouri and Washburn, 2 rivals right out of the gate. I guess before we get into these games, has your team progressed the way you'd want them to up to this point? I mean, do you feel you're ready for conference play? Because it's a different beast. I mean, everybody knows each other, and it's just a whole different feel when you get in the MIAA play.
Yeah, it is. It's something you can't prepare for if you haven't faced it yet. It's hard to tell our new kids what it's going to look like until you've experienced it, and then once you've played one game in it, then you're like, okay, this is different. Central Missouri is different. They lost 2 kids to the transfer portal. They're now in D1, but they've got some good pieces back. He added a couple new pieces. He got the GLVC Player of the Year last year on his team this year, so she's tough and a freshman that's playing really well. So they will look very different, but they're still running the same stuff. I think I could take my scout from last year and put it and make a copy and give them the same thing after playing them for 3 times last year. So it'll just come down to we know each other really well. It's who's going to execute and who's going to get stops.
Can Coach Schleifer do the same for you?
I don't think so. We've mixed it up enough, I think, I hope, to make it a little bit tough for him.
And let's face it, I mean, I'm not going to say there's no love lost between the two, but you've played in some really big, meaningful games, most of them in the postseason. In fact, you've ended each other's seasons the last 2 years. They ended yours 2 years ago. You did last year, and even though they have a lot of new faces and you have new faces, I'm sure the kids talk, and they're made very much aware of what this game means.
They are, and I can take it all the way back to, I think, when I played, how much we disliked them. And so for me, Central Missouri is a team, since I've been at Fort Hays, that I have a dislike for, that we've done a very good job of ending each other's seasons over the last 15 years, and there's a lot of games to go back to.
And a little bit on Washburn. That'll be Saturday afternoon. Second year with their coach, trying to build it up, and they had a rough season last year. I think they're 4-4 now, but it looked like they're playing a little bit better, maybe starting to get some things figured out.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, they're looking really well, really good. She added some good pieces out of the transfer portal as well, and I think she's starting to get them to play really well together. So I think we're going to see them be a better team than they were last year.
All right, should be a lot of fun. The Tigers and the Jennies to start conference play on Thursday night. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you at the Coliseum. Should be a fun night.
Thanks, Sean.
There you go. Talia Cars, head coach of the Fort Hays State women. At 5:30 for the ladies. Men followed around 7:30. Fort Hays State, Central Missouri to open up MIAA play. Tiger Talk today brought to you by the Hays Med Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in western Kansas. Let the experts at Hays Med Orthopedic help you move freely. Learn more at haysmed.com/orthopedics. And you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FortHaysStateAthletics.com, FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop. There you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and they're all customizable. That's FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop and open up the Tiger Team Store. We'll talk men's basketball with Mark Johnson next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, real country. 99 KZ Country.
Caleb starts to attack now. R.J. Crawford inload to Riley, posting up at the rim, missed the shot, gets his own rebound, and put it in. And all the elementary kids love it as Sean Riley gets the first points of the game. Yeah, that was last Tuesday, a little over a week ago. The Tiger met in Central Christian on Youth Day at Gross Memorial Coliseum. Fort Hays State, a 3-game win streak riding into conference play tomorrow night against Central Missouri. Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI, your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Joined by men's coach Mark Johnson. We'll start with that. Youth Day, a second annual Youth Day a week ago Tuesday. A fun event, big crowd, and we heard it was loud in there. That's just a neat game for the kids to come out, but I think your guys really enjoy playing in front of them as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great the last 2 years. Again, thankful for everybody involved, from our athletic department, the people that put that on. Matt's a big part of that, and then obviously USD 49 and all the surrounding school districts. Appreciate the teachers and all of them letting their students do that, because I think the kids have fun. Obviously, our guys have fun, and it's an exciting thing to do.
Yeah, and it's some nice artwork of some of your players that they drew that were on the video board throughout the game. It was a fun time, and you got a nice win. I know a Central Christian team that you were a little nervous about, a squad that had been off to a good start, very athletic, and pretty much the same core of guys you've played the last 2 or 3 years, and I thought your team had a pretty solid effort in that one.
Yeah, I thought we played well. I mean, I think the biggest difference you see between South Dakota Mines and Central Christian, I think Central Christian is actually probably has the more talent of the two teams, but just how much size makes a difference in today's basketball. I mean, we were just we just overwhelmed Central Christian with our size compared to Mines. We couldn't do that. And again, people think size, it's not the center position we're talking about. It's just on the perimeter. You got to have 6'4" to 6'6" guys that can all dribble, pass, and shoot nowadays. The days of, playing 2 6-foot guards at this level and win at a high level are long gone, and we probably still have 1 or 2 too many short guys. But just kind of, that's the biggest difference in the 2 games was just the size, our size compared to them. Just made it really hard on them.
I guess the only negative was Sean going down, but the injury. He didn't play Saturday in the win over Manhattan Christian. I guess maybe an update on him. How's he doing?
Yeah, we just got out of practice, and he practiced. He didn't do everything, but he did enough that he'll play tomorrow. He's really, you just hope it doesn't. Obviously, he's not going to be 100%, but like I said, I think he'll be able to move pretty good out there. You just hope it doesn't stop his momentum. Our first game of the year against Southwest Minnesota really hurt us. He was just in foul trouble and eventually fouled out and only played 15 minutes. And then he comes back the next night and has 18 and 10. And then South Dakota Mines comes here and he has 24 and 8. And then I think Central Christian he had 13 and 7. He could have had more, but I mean we didn't need it. And then he got hurt. So how much can he come back and be where he was right before he got injured? But we were lucky. We're worried it could have been a lot worse. But he should be. I mean, I would anticipate him playing this week.
Well, that's certainly good news. And he's, as you said, off to such a good start. We haven't had a chance to chat with you too much. You've got, obviously, the veterans back, but a lot of new kids and a lot of new faces, some who hadn't played in a while. How do you feel they've come along? Are you seeing more improvement from some of the freshmen and some of the transfers you brought in?
Yeah, for sure. I don't love what we're doing with conference and the fact that we have 2 conference games, and we still have 4 more conference games that 3 of the 4 are really hard games. So you'd like to get more games in. Like I said, we've practiced a lot this year. The way the calendar fell, we had an extra week in the non-conference so we didn't have games. It was hard to fill games. We're kind of backloaded first semester. So I think they've done really well, but they need more games. You just can only do so much in practice. Your confidence level comes from being successful in games. I thought it was good to get Central Christian and Manhattan Christian, and I think Aiden, started off maybe not shooting very well. I think now he has his percentages up really well from 3 just from the last couple games. Eli's a guy that's going to have to play a lot this week. We're playing 2 of the best bigs in our conference, and 2 of the part of the reason they're good is they're big.
Yeah.
And Eli's going to have to get out there and eat up some fouls and be physical. So it was good to get him out there. And then Mo just won't pull the trigger. You know what I mean? He's about 9 for 12 from the field, and you see some of his turnovers are coming from just being too passive. And I think that's just he's got to get out there and go. And it was Manhattan Christian, but it was nice to see, Lucas has really struggled with his knee. We've had a lot of guys struggling with injuries. I thought Lucas looked as mobile as he has in a long time. And, he has a little bit better basketball IQ than the other guys on our team as far as feel of the game and stuff like that. So hopefully his knee will continue to let him move like that a little bit.
You mentioned Mo and being too passive. How much is that his new team, new program, didn't play for you, just trying to fit in and not do too much?
Yeah, Mo, he's a little bit like Dan. I mean, they're just really nice guys, and Mo is a super guy, kind of a laid-back guy and doesn't want to ruffle feathers, and he would not. I mean, he knows how to play. No one on our team would be upset if he shot it more. That's just kind of his nature right now, and he's trying to find a comfort zone, and we're kind of telling him you need to be more aggressive and go. Kyle and Aiden and them don't seem to have that problem. They're ready to lock and load at all times. So need to get him a little bit more with that mentality.
And you touched on it going into the year. Kyle Grill's a guy who's going to have to step up and elevate his game and do more, and the numbers certainly bear that out. He's answered that challenge so far.
Yeah, he's done well. He needs to be a good player for us, more than capable. I mean, his ball needs to go in a little bit higher than it has been. He got off to a really tough start at Minnesota, and he's now got it up to 39% and 30 from three. He needs to be, for his size, he needs to be more 46% and 35 or better. So again, this is his first. He's played, but he really hasn't played. Mm-hmm. He was here last year. He didn't really get meaningful minutes, so this is his first time being a premier player, feature player in your team. So again, a lot of these guys, it's will take some time. But Kyle's a really tough matchup at our level. He's a big, strong kid. He can shoot threes. He can attack closeouts. He can post smaller perimeter guys and things like that. So him and just talking about size. That's why we need to get RJ. I thought RJ again moved a little better on Saturday than he has, but. You get Kyle and RJ out there at the 2-3. I mean, that's 2 6'5", 6'6", 210-pound guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. That's a hard matchup for other teams at times.
We need to squeeze in one more break. We'll do that here. We'll preview the Mules of Central Missouri. As Coach said, much different lineup and playing pretty well. We'll talk about them in just a little bit. Tiger Athletics proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition. They encourage you to join Tiger fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. We'll preview the Mules when we return to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
When it comes to screen printing and embroidery, your first choice should be Redeem Designs in Hayes. Turn it up with Redeem Designs, where it's not just about the products, it's about the partnership. At Redeem Designs, you're part of the process. They work closely with you to ensure your vision comes to life. So turn up your 2024-25 season with Redeem Designs.
Caleb's going to inbound, left baseline, throws it all the way out high to Davis. Now Crawford gets it. He'll bring it left side to Grill. Bounces the top of the key to Riley. Back to Caleb for three. Swish! Caleb Hammocky buries the left wing three. His 6th three of the year. He's 6 for 13 to start this season. And Fort Hays State has the early 5-0 lead. Yeah, welcome back to Tiger Talk. Fort Hays State basketball at home tomorrow and Saturday. Central Missouri to open MIAA play. Then Saturday afternoon, it is the Washburn Ichabods. We're talking men's basketball with Mark Johnson. Real quick, Central Missouri, they've got some new faces, and I know you had said earlier they might be the most improved team in the conference. They're 4-3, but man, you look at them. They're playing some really good basketball. They've had a challenging schedule like a lot of teams. They brought in some new faces to go along with some pretty good returners, and this will be a challenge tomorrow.
Definitely more talented than they've been the last 3 to 4 years. I think playing two freshmen and playing a lot of new guys with only maybe 2 returners. So they're going to be a lot better as the year progresses, and this will be a big week for us. Obviously, Washburn's a national championship contender this year. They're undefeated, so we got to win some games on our home floor here.
Well, it should be a lot of fun, and you get to face Elijah Carr one more time. He's been in the league forever. Now he's finishing up at Central Missouri, but should be a fun one. 7:30 tomorrow, then 4 o'clock with the number 3 ranked team. Coach, as always, appreciate the time, and we'll see you tomorrow at the Coliseum.
All right, thanks, Gerard.
There you go, Mark Johnson, coach of Fort Hays State. Fort Hays State, Central Missouri tomorrow. That'll be a 5:30, 7:30 doubleheader, then 2 and 4 o'clock Washburn in town on Saturday. Hope to see you out at the Coliseum. If you can, of course, catch it on the Tiger Sports Network and Tiger Radio Mix 103.3. That'll wrap it up for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you back here next Wednesday on Tiger Talk.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.